So let's bring in our first guest this afternoon, Okta Research President Ranjit Rai. Hi, Prof.
Hi, Prof.
Hi,
Hi,
good afternoon to
Professor.
everyone.
Hi,
Thank you
sir.
for inviting Okta to share its results
Sensya ka na,
of
magulo
its
itong
third
kasama
quarter
natin eh.
survey.
Prof, paano ba to? Parang yung, ito ba ay, Parang surprising ba yung resulta ng survey na karamihan ng mga tao ay galit sa corruption? Parang, ano ba yung yung comparative advantage ng ganitong survey kumpara doon sa nakikita naman natin all over the place? Maliban doon sa mga nakatira sa loob ng kuweba.
Hindi naman. Actually, ang importante dito, mapaalam doon sa mga stakeholders kung kaano extensive, no? Yung awareness at saka ang galit na ating mga kababayan dito sa issue na to. Kasi baka hindi natin alam kung paano yung dynamics ito, Ronald. Sinasabi lang maraming galit pero sasabihin, bakit 31,000 lang o 30,000 lang nagpunta noong September 21? The fact of the matter is, now we have a number. No? Now we can say with confidence that actually majority of our own population, majority of adult Filipinos are how should I say this, are very angry, no, about what the term we used in the survey was outrage, no. That's and so I think that's a very important finding from a social science standpoint, rather than giving just a statement without any data to back it up, diba? And it should also be a data that government should be focused on, because nowadays, if the president started this process of cleansing, it should be clear to him that there should be no whitewash, and he should go all the way, because people are angry, people have expectations, and people have hope because they supported his call for cleansing. They want some results. So yun ang lumalabas din sa survey na to. So anybody looking for on both sides will see the value of actually having data. And besides, this was an important juncture in the life of our country. It's important to get public sentiment measured. So now, this was also discussion we had when we were probing this. Do we really need to find out that people are angry? Actually, we do. And now we have the number now. We have 60% feel outrage, 30% have anxiety and disappointment. Okay, the majority of those who are angry, anxious, are from Gen Z and millennials. So even your statements in the past will now have data to back it up. Mga tao at very specific yung sector na galit, and they're not asking for charter change or snap elections. They're asking for a very definite agenda of reform. And it was also outlined in the survey. Ano yung gusto nila? And you will see from the ranking na people want justice apart from accountability. So they want people to go to jail. A majority of our own respondents want to see that some of the money should be returned back. No? So nasa panghuli na yung restoring trust in government, improving infrastructure projects. People want, the suspects, no, the people who are, who do corrupt activities in government, go to jail.
Interested ako, Prof, dun sa 20% na parang hindi kasama dun sa 80% na galit. Paano mo i-deconstruct yun? Yung 20% na yun? Bakit sila hindi galit?
Or maybe hindi nila alam.
Anong concern nila? Lack of information? Or talagang hindi sila naniniwala? Doon ako interested yung 20% na yan.
Is it 20%, Prof? Yung
Hindi naman. It's less than that.
Okay.
September. So just to give our viewers a context, September 25 to 30 nagkaroon tayo ng survey, no? Ang focus ng survey natin yung issue ng flood control projects, yung issue ng corruption. So this is not just what we released was just a part of a larger probe, no? So ano unang finding, no? Tama ba na nilabas ni President Marcos, no? Etong sinimulan ni President Marcos itong issue, no, ng corruption by publicly exposing yung anomalies sa flood control. So even if it hits him politically. So ang sabi ng mga kababayan natin, 83% ang nagsasabing they support, no? the president's expose and the call for accountability because of these flood control anomalies. Number two, ano yung feeling? Ano yung number one, no? Primordial feeling ng mga ating mga kababayan because of this scandal. So 60% ang nagsasabi anger and outrage, 30% ang nagsasabi na express fear, anxiety, while 9% feel sadness and disappointment. So and then when you go to the radix, no, go to the granular level, majority ho ng ating mga Gen Z at millennials, more than 60%, lalo doon sa outrage, makikita mo ang bulk ng ating Gen Z at millennials, which is the big chunk of our voting population, are the ones feeling this. So, we can say at some level, our young people are very critical about corruption and expect decisive action. So, yun ang pwede mong ma-derive from the survey. Third finding namin, when you look at the institution, who should investigate? Okay, 46%, most of the our interviewees opted not to privilege the Senate or the House. Hindi ito mga institusyon na dapat mag-investigate. Ang dapat mag-investigate isang independent commission. Yun na nga yung ICI. So again, mababa ang trust sa Senado na at saka Kongreso. Gusto ng ating mga kababayan ng independent commission of respected individuals. Ito na nga yung ICI. So that's 46%. Last thing that we found out from the survey, ano yung expectation ng public after all of this? No. Ang summary is justice, jail time, and reforms. No? Ano yung top 5? Marami tong expectations, but yung top 5, 68% hold corrupt officials and contractors accountable. Number 2, tied, no? Recover lost, misuse funds, 58%. Imprison, if proven guilty, 58%. Number 4, the efficient implementation of quality flood control projects, that's 41%. And then last is strengthen transparency monitoring of government infrastructure. So the results signal a clear, uncompromising public mandate for justice, accountability, and institutional reform. So Filipinos through this survey are sending a strong signal na zero tolerance for corruption. No? While the public supports the president's decision to confront wrongdoing, it expects a lot, di ba? Swift, transparent, credible action, including the punishment of offenders, the recovery of public funds, and long-term reforms to ensure clean, efficient governance. So hindi pwedeng PR lang to. Gaya nga ng nakikita natin, hindi pwedeng performative to. People are angry, people are expecting reforms, people are expecting some of our kababayans who are part of this to go to jail. And so the president, the team, the ombudsman has its work cut out.
Sir, looking at the numbers...
Professor, palinaw ko lang yung context lang, yung last survey nyo on corruption, malaki ba inakyat neto ng mga taong galit sa corruption? Kasi yung isang survey kahapon, yun ang napansin nila na there has been a surge of sentiment against corruption. What about in your case?
It's the same. For the same period, yun rin nakita namin kasama ng ibang mga survey companies na out of the top 10, tumaas ang corruption to the top 5. Now, Okta is a young organization, not more than 5 years old. No? So for us, this was significant because we always saw corruption as not in the top 5 urgent national concerns. It was always got issues, di ba? Inflation, wages, access to quality food, no, jobs, di ba? Poverty. Yan normally laging top 5. Pero for the first time in almost 4 years, sa amin, at least sa amin, no, and we're not we don't have a long, extensive data bank. But for Okta, this was the first time na nasa top 5 yung corruption. So, tumaas talaga siya. So, the awareness about the issue is very high, and I think government has to take people's sentiment very seriously. Some would argue we are in a critical juncture, and reforms have to be put in place. No, people have to be imprisoned, people have to be made accountable, and systems have to be changed. So hindi pwedeng i-PR to, hindi pwedeng mawala lang to dahil sa Christmas. so kailangan talaga seryoso. The president started it, people appreciate it, but he's got to go, full force and follow through with reforms and, accountability.
Sir, let me just ask some nuancing here. Yung sa first finding ninyo that 83% support the president's expose and call for accountability, I suppose by that you don't necessarily mean that that 83% support the administration per se.
No.
Kasi I mean, if you look at social media now, may linyahan yung mga yan eh. Although everybody's angry, everybody's mad, everybody's fuming through the nose, pero if you belong to this political
They're angry
side
with
of the
party
fence,
lines.
galit kay ganito, pero happy kay ganito. Dito sa kabila, galit kay ganito, happy kay ganito. So may kanya-kanyang blame game.
Yeah, Ed, it's not correlated to support for the president. They just agree, but I don't think anybody. It's an obvious question naman. Nobody will disagree with something like this.
Yeah.
But I think it's important to understand how many people disagree. Only 3% disagree. So if your margin of error is plus minus 3%, what we're registering is 3% disagree, and only 13% are ambivalent. So without a doubt, there might be people kasi who in government who see this as, okay, we're doing this, we have the ICI, let's go back to business as usual. Hindi na eh. The president's opened a Pandora's box. There's no going back from here, and people have very high expectations that a reform agenda will actually be implemented. So I think that's a message for those in power, that people are very angry, and if you want to have a number, it's 60%. The others are not angry; they're more anxious. And then the rest, 9% feel sadness. So alam mo yun, there's no gray area here eh. Kailangan yung reform agenda.
Everybody feels bad.
Yeah, everybody feels bad about it. But, one could argue, Professor Rai, that's to be expected naman. But it's important that we send a signal to our government officials that people mean business as far as the reform process is concerned. They have expectations. Number one expectation is accountability will be realized. Pananagutan, di ba, in Filipino. Number two, they want people to be jailed. Now, if nobody's jailed, I think distrust for government will go up, di ba? And that will ultimately affect its legitimacy. Di ba? What's our moral obligation to follow government that does not mean what it says and says what it means about corruption? Di ba? So this is important data. I know it's commonplace maybe, but we don't have data. There's no agency that's coming out now with actual data about the sentiments of Filipinos, the snapshot, public sentiment at this particular point, which is a historic juncture.
The fact that 60% expressed anger and outrage, and the fact that the bulk of that is made up of Gen Zs and millennials, and they're crying out for justice, jail time reforms. Can we flip that around? Can we correlate that to say that the bulk of Gen Zs and the millennials are now disenchanted with the government? Or they or there's less trust with the government? And putting on your political scientist hat, Prof, the question that keeps getting raised is whether or not the youth rallies and street protests that happen in countries like Indonesia and Nepal and Morocco could ever happen here, driven by the youth.
My own assessment is this: I really couldn't care less about what's happening to Nepal or to the other places. No, the fact is what we're seeing here is unique because number one, we didn't see this 6 months ago. The renewed activism of our youth. I think that's something that's significant. Now, if there's a movement there's already a movement. It has no leader, but there's a movement for change that's happening. The big chunk of it is organic. It's authentic. I feel this is an opportunity for change. And my sense is the government, our political class, should take this as an opportunity to push a reform agenda forward. if not, I think there might be some problem. There might be the political crisis will become broadened and deepened if there's no adequate response. That's why the ombudsman, this survey was done after the big rallies. This survey was done, just before the ombudsman was chosen. So we've got all the puzzle pieces together. Hopefully something good can come out of it. But definitely for those in government looking at this survey, you can't PR out of this. There has to be some reform agenda, set a blueprint for change that has to come out, and it has to be implemented because people are seriously, distrustful of the system and, basically outraged about what's happening.
Prof, linawin ko lang, Prof. Nabanggit nyo na 83% ng populasyon ay outraged, galit dito sa corruption na ito.
Yes,
Pero
yes,
60%...
60.
Ha?
60 outraged.
60 yung outraged.
Tapos
yung,
30 yung expressed fear and anxiety, while 9% expressed sadness and disappointment. So, meron kaming choices of how they felt.
Okay.
So, more or less, yung napaka-konti lang ng ambivalent.
Okay. So, pero nabanggit nyo rin na mga 60% yung Gen Z at saka millennials. Sila ay 60% nitong total o 60% ng millennials at saka Gen Z yung outrage?
60% more than 60% ng mga ating millennials at Gen Z ang outraged. So napakalaking force niyan eh. Yung outrage at anger is a very powerful emotion eh. And this can accelerate the development of strong social movements eh. And since they comprise bulk of our voting population, they comprise bulk of our population in some sense, in a real sense pala, there is a movement for change, and this could change change governance in the medium to long term. It can have an impact on politics. 2028, come 2028. So ito yung importanteng kailangan malaman ng different stakeholders in our political system.
Yung nga yung tanong ko, Prof, kung 60% ng Gen Z at saka millennials yung outrage, ano yung 40%? Ano yung 40% ng Gen Z at millennials?
So explain ko na. Nandun rin sa report na binigay ko sa ISEC. So when you say 60% are outrage, ano yung age group distribution nun? So yun ang sinasabi ko. So sa age group distribution, except for the age group, unfortunately, of your age group, 44%.
Millennials.
I was gonna say,
millennials.
that's his generation.
Millennials.
Yeah. Okay, so
Boomer.
16 above, parang less than 50%. Pero all age groups above 50% ang lumagpas, ang outrage, no? So yung composition ng age groups. So when you look at the 60% of that, a big chunk are millennials, 60% of whom are comprised of millennials and Gen Z. So yun yung age group distribution lang, Sec. So para makita na syempre dahil 60%, obvious naman, majority na ating kababayan. Pero anong age groups ang more than 50%? So ang sinasabi ko lang, makikita nyo doon yung Gen Z at saka millennials, napakataas. Close to 7 out of
Professor,
millennials and Gen Z.
Professor, yung Okta, it's known for accurate projections. Although medyo iba yung data niyo dito. Yung pagbabasihan niyo. Anong projection niyo? Masusustain ba to all the way to 2028?
I don't have data to
answer. Yan na nga.
But as a political scientist, it's always hopeful.
As a political scientist.
That the context for reform is there. The support, the movement has already started. Let's hope that the political class, and including civil society, will use this opportunity to redirect all that anger towards some sort of reform agenda. Because the country is, this is a juncture, a very important situation in the life of our country. If we don't do anything, it could spiral into a massive crisis. Crisis of legitimacy. And that's why it's important for our leaders not to minimize this, alam mo yun, konti lang ang pumunta noong September 21, hindi naman kasing rami ng pumunta sa Iglesia ni Cristo. Hindi rin natin pwedeng i-minimize yung threat ng destabilization because there is a real threat. And the goal here is to save our democracy, to broaden and deepen our democracy. And that starts by listening to our own people. They're saying they're angry, they want something done, and that they have a specific reform agenda to push. So, now...
Saka isa pang tanong, i-stick ba siya? Will the outrage stick to the politicians? Kasi, halimbawa, tanungin na natin, yung mga Dutertes, di ba? Masyadong maraming dinidikit sa kanila. Maapektuhan ba sila niyan?
Mukhang based on, I can't disclose everything, but based on our surveys, hindi sila naapektuhan. In fact, at the latest, our own reading of who's going to win in 2028, it's still Sara Duterte. Not by much, but, significant. Yeah. But for certain personalities who are associated, who are named
sa flood control
mess, wala. Talagang laki ng impact sa trust, performance, and even just the inclination, the question, will you vote for them if there's elections today? Makikita mo talagang...
meron na kayong gano'n baka...
Meron na kami, for certain...
Baka pwede niyong kailan niyo ilalabas yan?
Commission yun eh. So, yan. But what I'm saying is, people took a hit here. The political system took a hit here. We're still looking at the numbers for the president if he actually if his trust and approval ratings actually went down. But we haven't. We'll release that this week, end of this week, or early part of next week.
Does it go down to granular level of details, Prof? I mean, both houses of Congress took a hit, but is there one that took a bigger hit than the other? For instance, there's questions around that and. Questions around who's handling it better. Because both have been implicated, right? Both the leaders of both houses have been implicated.
It seems initially from what I was able to see from our data is that I think the Senate did a little better because, they had a change of leadership much earlier. So that had some impact, no? It mitigated maybe the decline to some extent. The Senate President... it's wildly popular and at least more popular than the new House Speaker. There's very little awareness of him. So these are the things that initially I'm seeing from the top line data that was accessible to. It's still being processed. So yeah.
Pwede nyo na-release namin, Prof.
Lagi naman nire-release sa inyo. So, we're very grateful lagi na lagi kanyo kami iniimbita.
In relation dyan, Prof,
in
relation dyan, Prof, yung Okta, yung pinakaunang naglabas ng presidential preference survey, no? More than a year ago. Pero since then, hindi na kayo naglabas ng presidential preference. May mga ibang survey firms na dati ay hindi naglalabas na naglabas this past 2 months. No?
They in fact adopted our own probe. Well, the only way I can answer is that it was commissioned. The actual probe was commissioned. But for this quarter, kaya hindi kami nakapaglabas SEC for 2 quarters kasi that particular probe was commissioned. Now we've decided to provide the public a free access. So we're coming up with our own report probably next week. But initial findings ni Prof. David is nag-flip na. It's similar to what others are seeing as far as pro Marcos, pro Duterte. But still, it's very significant numbers of independents.
Okay.
Sir, nag-flip? What do you mean nag-flip? Nag-flip, kung dati mas malaki yung pro Duterte versus pro Marcos, ngayon...
Kung dati mas malaki yung pro Marcos, when we first introduced this probe, na yung, ginagamit na ng ibang survey companies rin. They're measuring it using the same framework, political preference, political identification. My initial look at the data is that it's flipped na. So they're more pro Duterte now than pro Marcos. We're still looking at the traditional opposition if it gained. But definitely there's still a lot more who are undecided and who who identify themselves as independents. They're not pro-Marcos, they're not pro-Duterte. And it's a huge number. It's more than 30%.
Okay.
Okay.
We will leave that there. Thank you so much for giving us early indications of your next report. Okta Research President Ranjit Rai. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, sir.
Salamat, Prof.
Salamat.
Thank you, Professor.
Thank you.